S.M.I.L.E Youth Lounge, a space where young minds come together to learn, grow, and connect.
We dive into topics that actually matter, from relationship
to money,
movies,
mental health,
leadership,
business,
and career goals. You name it, we talk about it.
And the best part, we keep it real and interactive.
And maybe you should expect giveaway, teasers, and a whole lot of vibes.
So if you're ready to level up, connect with like-minded people, and get insights that actually matter, hit the subscribe button now. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome once again to S.M.I.L.E Youth Lounge, a space where we have honest conversations that shape the future of young people in our society. And today, we're going to be talking about a very, very important topic. Thousands of people graduate from the university, and yet employers say things like, we don't have the right people, we can't find the right people. So today, we're going to be talking about the skills that help you get hired in 2026. So this is an episode that you definitely want to watch till the end. You definitely want to stick around because we have someone very, very special in the building that is going to be joining on this episode of S.M.I.L.E Youth Lounge. I remain your beautiful host, Ruth Abimbola. And on today's episode of S.M.I.L.E Youth Lounge, I am going to be joined by a certified human resources and talent management professional with over 13 years of progressive experience across multiple industries. This is already getting interesting. We don't just bring people on the show. We bring people that are experienced about the topic that we're going to be discussing on this show so that we give you the right set of information that you need as a young person to thrive in whatever field that you are. Moving ahead, is currently serving as the head of people and organization improvement at Stressat Integrated Limited, where he leads strategic initiatives focused on talent development, organizational effectiveness, and workforce transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me on the show today, Mr. Shola Gbobaniyi. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, with a round of applause from the comfort of your home or wherever you're watching from, please make welcome Mr. Shola Gbobaniyi, who is going to be, answering very important questions on the episode today. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Ruth, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Right.
I must commend what S.M.I.L.E has been doing. I was privileged to be part of your summit last year, and I saw the huge turnout of youth from different parts of the country.
Right.
To imagine that somebody could, pull that, do all of that
together
to empower youth,
to
ensure that in this age and time you're developing the youth in the economy, in the system. I think it's quite commendable. I was honestly bowled over by the huge turnout from fresh graduates to coppers and the likes. It was quite commendable, and it's actually laudable. So I'm honored and privileged to be here today. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We are happy to have you as well. Thank you for honoring us, because we know how tight your schedule can be.
Yes,
and that's the whole essence of S.M.I.L.E in general, just for the growth and development of young people. And we are happy that people are able to see the impact that we are making, or we are trying to make, even in the nearest future. Thank you so much for mentioning that. So how do you feel being on the show today?
Well, I feel good.
Right.
This started out well, so yeah. So let's get it rolling. So
All right, sir.
I'm good.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that thousands of young individuals graduate from the university, yet employers are saying things like, oh, we don't have the right candidates, we don't, maybe they don't have the skills that we need. So that brings me to the questions that, what are the skills that you think young people should possess for them to be employable in the, various industries that we have right now in our society?
Okay, before I start out with that, before I list out those relevant, what we'll call transferable skills, I will first off say that it's important that people understand that there is a huge disconnect between, especially in our society, a huge disconnect between education and real life world work application. And the reason is because when you go to school, you go to school to get knowledge. Yeah. In the real world. In the real world of work, what people are looking for is the application of that knowledge. Okay, so people go to school, they study, and it's mostly theoretical.
Yeah.
In organizations and businesses, they are looking for practical solutions, not your
Right.
theory. Yeah,
Right.
so it's important that people, because the mindset out there is, I just want to have a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what people don't understand is that businesses are not just looking for degree holders, they are looking for problem solvers. So you need to be somebody who, beyond the theoretical knowledge you have
Yeah.
acquired in any higher institution, whether university or polytechnic, depending on wherever. Yes, you need to also learn have those transferable skills, and good enough, there are things you can learn. So learn them, and you learn them from from taking up different activities. So for instance, one is, and which is most relevant as we speak now, is digital and tech skills. So you need
Right.
to be able to have skills, technology skills that can solve problems. It's not just knowing what is in vogue or what is trending. So I see a
Yeah.
lot of young people say, "Oh, it's technology, it's about AI," but you need to be able to apply it to solve real life problems.
Problems.
So tech skills and digital skills are very important. Also, I would say critical thinking and problem solving. So you need to be able
To solve
to solve
problems.
problems,
Yeah.
analyze them, put them together, dissect them, and be able to profile solutions. So organizations are looking for individuals like that. Also, important is emotional intelligence. It's these are mostly people-centered skills.
Yeah.
Yes, emotional intelligence in the sense that you're able to manage your emotions, yeah, as well as the emotions of others. Well, maybe not control that of others. You control yours, manage it, and manage that of others. Because you work on teams, different teams. You could be on a team of 5. How then do you relate with people? How do the people are coming with different personalities?
Yeah.
You need to be able to manage how you relate with them. So emotional intelligence is also very critical. I will also say communication skills, because as much as it sounds simple, your ability to communicate and pass information in a very simplified manner is
Yeah.
also very important. Your inability to communicate effectively can complicate
Things.
simple matters.
Yeah.
So it's important that you have communication skills, like I said, emotional intelligence, digital and tech skills, and also critical thinking and problem solving. So these are a few of some of these transferable skills that are important in this age and time.
Thank you so much for sharing that. One thing I was able to deduce from what you shared is the fact that employers are not looking for degree holders.
Yes.
They are looking for problem solvers. So if you think that you have a degree and you've been wondering, oh, I've been attending interviews, I've been granting various interviews, and I haven't gotten a call back, why are these people not calling me back? Maybe you want to sit back and actually check if you are a problem solver, and if during the interview you've been able to profile any solution that you can bring to the organization. It is not just about your degree, like Mr. Shala said. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Being educated is not the same as being employable. Skills bridge that gap. So you mentioned, quite a number of skills that people need to have to make them employable.
Yes.
What one skill do you think increases or gives an individual the chances of being employable the most, or increases employability the most?
That's a tough one. However, off the top of my head and from my experience, I would say
Yeah.
problem solving. It has to be problem solving. You walk into a
Again.
room, yeah, it has to be problem solving. You walk into a room or into an organization, and the reason why any organization will want you on board is basically for you to come and help solve problems. The business world in this age and time is quite competitive. So businesses are consistently looking for people who can come in, who don't just take instructions, who are not just people who would come and lay back, the kind of laxity you see with
Yeah.
most people, young people. Don't just take instructions, don't just follow your 10, 20 JDs that you've been given. We want you to come in and look at the system and be able to think critically and profile solutions. So problem solving anywhere in the world is number one, because you need to be able to help that organization look at situations and profile solutions.
Solutions.
So I
Thank
think
you.
my own point of view, though.
Thank you so much. That's very, very insightful. Once again, you just have to be a problem solver
Yeah.
in everything that you do. Now, how do young people learn relevant skills without expensive training, especially for those who are looking to transition from maybe what they learned in school into something that, is made available to them currently? Would like to hear from you.
Okay, thank you for that question. I would say that if you look around, you see that information is available at the tip of your finger these days. If, for instance, if you look at YouTube, which I would say is the
Yeah.
cornerstone of modern education, and I would
Right.
also say it is the largest, the biggest self-learning classroom in the entire world. You know, if you look at such a platform, it allows you to learn just about anything.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you see people, you see almost every young person's got a phone. You have
Yeah.
data on your phone. So instead of the all the jibes on social media and all of
The
that, all the
TikTok.
TikToking and all of that, I think people can learn relevant skills.
Right.
So, for instance, I was trying to upskill myself in a particular area of artificial intelligence, and I was on board this particular group where they said, oh, we needed to pay, to get the relevant skills to be able to use that particular tool. Guess what? Just it was the day I was actually supposed to make that payment, and I said, okay, why don't I just go to YouTube and just let me do a search? And
Right.
guess what? I found the entire thing,
Everything that you would have
everything.
paid a
Yes,
huge amount
yeah,
for.
I did spend time. I did spend time, about a few hours, but guess what? I got everything at no cost.
Wow.
So if you look at places like YouTube, they allow you to learn just about anything. You just need to key in the right search phrases. And other platforms like LinkedIn is also there, where you get resources from professionals who have been here and there. So LinkedIn, Udemy is there, Coursera is there,
Yeah.
quite a number of resources there. EDX also, EDX, the platform by Harvard and MIT. So quite a number of limitless resources out there. And aside that, I would also say that youth should also take advantage of volunteering and going for internships. I see this a lot, that most people don't want to do that. Most young
Internship.
people come out of school and they're like, sorry to say, they feel entitled, and they feel, oh, my next job should be this six-figure salary, and
Right. I've
so yes,
arrived.
I've arrived. I'm a graduate, yeah, so I'm
Right.
I'm done. But I don't think that is the right way to go. They should focus on learning transferable skills, like we said earlier, and you can. Sometimes jobs don't come as fast as you want, but you can take advantage of internship
Right.
opportunities, volunteering. Yeah, there are quite a number of non-for-profit organizations out there that you can choose to volunteer with. Just learn the skills that are relevant, that you see are also in demand by employers.
Yeah.
So
Very
make sure you
important.
focus on those skills, and the sky is your limit.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys are taking notes at home. Oh. That's why we brought Mr. Shola to come and give you all the tips that you need. So after this episode, we want to hear testimonies in the comment section saying, oh, I bagged this job, I got this, I got that. That's the testimony that we want to hear. And thank you so much for sharing that with us once again. I was able to pick a few of the platforms that you can learn
Yeah.
relevant skills from: YouTube, Coursera, and a few others. So please take advantage of these platforms. If you've been looking down on these platforms, I think that you want to have a change of mind right now. Our dear viewers, what skills are you currently building that can make you employable in the next 6 months? We would like to hear from you. Please drop your response in the comment section. So, you mentioned you mentioned the fact that you need to learn skills that are very relevant and are in
Yes.
demand.
Yes.
Don't just learn any type of skills.
Exactly.
Now, you don't want to learn a skill as a young person and then after maybe getting that position in the office in the next 2-3 years, they're like, oh, I don't think we really need somebody in this in this field anymore. We don't. The person is not really relevant to our company. We need something better, or they are looking for other roles that they
Okay.
are so going to fill in the company. So what skills do you think are going to still be relevant in the next decade, in the next 10 years? It is still going to be in demand. People are still going to be looking for people to fill that role.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, tech and digital skills will forever, remain relevant
Okay.
because you need to be able to use technology to solve problems.
Yeah.
So, tech skills, depending on what line of work you're into, you need to be able to use technology to be able to arrive at solutions. Yeah. So whether you work in the office, whether you work in a studio like this, whatever it is you do, you need to find a relevant technology that can help make you more efficient, productive, smarter, seamless, and faster. So you need technology to be able to do that. Also important, like I mentioned earlier, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and problem solving, communication skills.
Right.
So you need all of these people-centered skills to remain relevant. We talk about AI.
Yeah.
You need to understand, and we always need to remind ourselves that AI was built by humans. So
Right.
those human centric skills are still relevant. They will forever be relevant.
Right.
So it's important that we know how to manage people, how to communicate with people. So those skills will be relevant, like forever. So it's
Thank you.
important that we really they are not inherently innate skills, though some people
Yeah.
have the natural aptitude, towards certain soft skills. But
Yeah.
however, these are skills that you need to intentionally
Learn.
learn
Yeah.
and develop. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So another thing you made mention of while you were answering the question I asked previously is the fact that people need to, intern at
Okay.
different
Yes. Sure.
companies when they come
Sure.
out of school. I mean, when I graduated, even before I graduated, I was already interning. I was already working because my school allowed me work
Same here.
while in
Okay.
school. So I mean, I'm the first child. I'm just going to use myself as an example. I'm the
Okay.
first child. A lot of things are expected of me, right? So, and I know that a lot of people can also relate to that. I'm not saying that my major goal while in school was just to make money, make money, make
Okay.
money.
Okay.
But then, even while I was in high school, my teachers would tell me things like, oh, some of you say have parents feeding you, pampering you, and giving you everything you need. The moment you're out of the university, you realize that you're going to be on your own, blah, 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 blah. You're getting pressure from, your teachers, your family, and things like that. And actually, to be very honest, your parents have tried. They've sent you to school, giving you everything you need. So you want to come out of school with that ginger of, oh, I need to get this job. I need to get a well-paying job. I need to be able to do this for myself, blah, 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 blah. And then you might get some interning opportunities that cannot give you that cannot meet up to that expectation that you've built for yourself. So how then do you not lose those opportunities by focusing just on money? How do you make the most out of that with the hope that money is still going to come? How do you get to that space where you're able to learn and intern at relevant places and not just lose those opportunities because you're trying to meet up with the expectation of your family members, the society, and even yourself?
Okay, Ruth, thank you for that question.
You're welcome.
So I would say first off, our orientation and mindset, they have to be right. What we sell in our system is a culture of get out of school and start to make money, and
Yeah.
and it honestly, in reality, it doesn't work like that. And parents are also guilty of this because they
Yes.
feel I've invested so much in you, so
You have to
just go
give me
and
back.
make money, and so it doesn't work like that. So first off, that mindset has to be changed. Secondly, the society also sells this make it quick, get
Yeah.
rich quick, make it now mentality.
Yeah.
It's also something that we need to address. So making money is important. However, you need to understand that first, when you're out of school, the single most biggest or the biggest investment you can make is not in stocks, is in yourself. So once you're out of school, it's important that you start to develop
Invest
yourself
in
to become
yourself.
employable.
Right.
Yes. So like we mentioned earlier, you've garnered knowledge, and the knowledge you've garnered so far are theoretical. Now we are looking at practical skills, transferable skills. So it's important that you focus on that before you start to focus on money. Guess what? Look around you all over the world. People who are wealthy today are people who are able to provide solutions or provide
Right.
value. They are
Right.
problem solvers. So if you are not able to acquire the skills needed to solve problems, then you will continue to chase after money, and money will not chase after you. And it should be the latter. Money
Wow.
should be able to chase after
Chase
you
after
because of the
you.
value that you create. So we need to have that mentality of creating value before money sets in. If you are not able to provide any solution, if you are not able to solve problems, look around. Mark Zuckerberg, what's his name, the Tesla guy, what they do, look at their businesses. They are solving one problem,
Of
making social
another.
impact one way or the other.
Yeah.
So, and that is what it has to be. Yeah. So don't join the bandwagon of, oh, I just need to make it. No, I think that's absolutely wrong. And people also have to have steady growth. Understand that it's important that we have steady growth. You can't make it just once you get out of school. You need to acquire the skills, the experience, the knowledge before you can become sought after. Yeah. So we need to put that in the right order. So it's very important that we put that in the right order. I would also say continuous learning, adaptability. Those are also very important. People need to understand that times will change, government
Right.
policies will change. Are you
Right.
adaptable when that happens? You need to have that kind of mindset as well. And like I mentioned earlier, value creation. You don't go into an organization and just say I'm an employee. You
Yeah.
need to have the mindset of, I am going to make this organization better while I'm here. Yeah. So that mindset is also very important. So money is not everything. Money is important. But I can tell you for free that people also have this model of earn while you learn. So whatever skills you're learning, you can be making a few bucks here and there to be able to. And when you're out of school, I also feel that people should not put pressure. The society should not put pressure
Yeah.
on you because you're out of school, and then they feel right now you just need to start sending money to daddy and
Exactly. That
mommy. You have siblings. So
can be
there's
so
a lot. Yeah, and it
crazy.
can be quite overwhelming, and young
Yes.
people struggle with that. So it makes them take up jobs that they don't even have interest in.
Exactly.
They take up all manner of jobs, all
Just for
manner
the
of gigs just
money.
for the money, and they are losing self-development. So they are spending hours doing jobs they don't like, resuming at offices they hate, and they are not developing themselves because there's
True.
no time. Because
True.
you wake up 5 o'clock in the morning and you go to your bus stop and you see, the bus stop is full of people going to work, and
Right.
and many of those people, if you ask them sincerely, they are not happy
They are not.
they are not happy
Most of
going
them are
to.
frowning in the morning.
Yes, yes. So it's just for survival. We
Right.
need to go from that beyond just survival to saying, adding value, solving real life problems. That is what we should focus on.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Shola. It's been such a wonderful time spending time with you, listening to everything that you have for the young people that are going to be watching this episode and myself as well. I mean, I've learned quite a number of platforms where you can learn tangible skills and relevant skills from, and just how young people can go from just being degree holders to people that actually can give value to wherever organization that they find themselves. So
Themselves.
what are your last words to anybody watching right now?
I would say learn a skill, find one skill that is relevant, that is in demand, learn it. I would also say start a project. What I mean by start a project is look for a problem around you. Start with, it could just be an idea, one idea after the other, and the sky's your limit.
Wow.
So yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I hope you've been able to learn, and I hope you've been taking notes. And like I said, we want to hear testimonies of how you've been able to secure mind-blowing jobs just by watching this episode. My name is Ruth Abimbola once again, and it's been an honor, an absolute pleasure hosting this episode of S.M.I.L.E Youth Lounge. One thing I'm going to be leaving you with is the fact that the future belongs to those people that can learn unlearn and relearn, like Mr. Shola also emphasized on in this episode. So keep learning, keep unlearning, and keep relearning, and keep making yourself relevant in whatever industry that you find yourself. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your
Bye.
day.
Our dear viewers, do you believe unemployment today is caused more by lack of jobs or lack of preparation? We will like to hear from you. Please drop your response in the comment section.